Record-setting stretch of warm weather in West Michigan is over, and now a hard freeze is threatening all of the plants and flowers that have started to bloom so early here. Meteorologist Kyle Underwood here in the tracking center with a look at what we can expect tonight. Kyle, how cold might it get?
We're talking about a good chance for a hard freeze across mid-Michigan and at least a light freeze for everybody, which is why we have this freeze warning posted. And the thing that's so interesting, these temperatures that we're talking about tonight, which sound really, really cold to us, are actually normal lows and highs for us. These are typical temperatures, but because we had that long stretch of really warm weather, fruit farmers got everything, everything's blossoming, a lot of blooms out there. That's what makes this such a big concern. So the freeze warning you can see posted for all of West Michigan, except for Berrien County. We've got temps right now mainly in the 40s, clear skies, dry air out there, a little bit of a breeze, but temperatures this evening, especially before the clouds thicken up late tonight, are going to drop off pretty quickly. So we'll see some pretty rapid drops in temps over the next 6 to 8 hours. Here's what I'm forecasting for lows tonight. You can see even in the metro areas, we're talking about a freeze for several hours. 28 the low in Grand Rapids. We'll see temperatures here across parts of mid-Michigan into the low and mid-20s, and that represents a hard freeze for a good chunk of West Michigan. Compare that to normal lows, right around 30. We're going to be a little cooler than that. So the forecast calls for temps again tumbling quickly early on, clouds thicken up, winds stay up. So those two things are going to keep us from what would otherwise be a night that could be could feature temperatures even cooler than this. So that's perhaps our savior tonight, but still freezing conditions for just about everybody. We do warm up in the 8-day forecast. Those details are coming up.
Kyle, thank you. The overnight freeze has a lot of West Michigan farmers concerned about their crops. Last week, we showed you how the warm weather was affecting them, and tonight, some farmers are taking extreme measures. 24-hour News 8's Ken Kolker is at Robinette's in Plainfield Township to show us what these farmers are doing. Ken?
Yes, Sue, here at Robinette's, the fruit trees like these cherries are in full bloom or close to it, and that worries fruit farmers across West Michigan. While some farmers will try to stir up the air with powerful fans, at least one farm on the ridge will make its own clouds out of smoke.
Here's your bud. That's what'll be your flower, which will be eventually your apple.
And that's what you're trying to save tonight?
Yes.
Hoping to save the May family's apple crop from temperatures that could dip into the mid and upper 20s. A huge contrast from the record warm heat that has orchards blooming more than a month ahead of schedule.
My grandpa's going to be 92 in November, and he's never, ever had a spring like this.
So Joe May and his brother spent today setting up rounds of hay along the perimeter of the family's orchard on Fruit Ridge near 10 Mile. And tonight, if the thermometer hits about 30, which they expect will happen, they'll set them on fire, and the hay will smolder.
Creating a fake cloud for the frost.
They hope the smoke will hold in the heat and protect their 60 acres of apples. Could that save the crop?
You don't know. You hope. You do anything you can do, I guess.
The stakes are big. In Michigan, the apple crop alone is worth $100 million.
It's your life. It's your livelihood. So, if we don't have apples, how are you going to put food on the table? So you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
And if the crop is lost, that loss would be felt far beyond these farms.
If we don't have apples to pick, and the packing shed don't have apples to pack, and your equipment dealers, we're not going to be buying equipment. So it all, it's just a trickle-down effect.
Now, the MSU Extension Service says temperatures down to 24 degrees could kill off 90% of the apple crop, and that 25 could kill 90% of the sweet cherries. Now, Storm Team 8 says that temperatures that cold aren't likely, but aren't totally out of the question. In Plainfield Township, Ken Kolker, 24-hour News 8.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Meanwhile, the flowers and plants in your backyard could also be at risk because of this hard freeze. The Michigan State University Extension Office says it's a guessing game as to which plants will make it and which ones won't.
We're in uncharted waters, and we don't know what will make it through with this much advancement in the foliage. So basically, we're just going to have to come out and take a look tomorrow and see what made it and what didn't.
That expert, Rebecca Finneran, has tips on which plants are most vulnerable to freeze and how to protect them best. That's on her blog. We've got a link set up at woodtv.com.